In this lesson, we will learn about cross-page posting. Before learning cross-page posting, one thing that you have to understand is in ASP.NET, for every page, that is for every .aspx page, an object is created on the server when the page is accessed for the first time. So it is called the page object. So the page object is a living instance of the page. Whatever you see in the browser is the state of the page object at that point of time when the request is sent. So normally every page contains some controls. For example, let us take a text box and a button. So the user will enter data into the text box and will click a button. So the default behavior of the button is to cause a postback. So what does postback will do is it will collect all the data of the controls in the page and submit the data to the server. So on the server, the page object that is associated with that current page will receive that data. So that is the meaning of the first statement here. So it says that normally any page created in ASP.NET simply posted data to itself. So when the data is posted to the server where the page object will receive the data, you can access that data in the page object. Data is coming from the controls which exist on the page, and you can access this data in the page object from the code behind file. Cross-page posting enables you to submit a form, for example page1.aspx, and have this and all the controls of the form post themselves to another page, that is page2.aspx. So cross-page posting will enable you to submit the data to another page object associated with a different page. Okay, normal posting will post data to a page object associated with that current page, whereas cross-page posting will enable you to submit data to another page object associated with a different page. Here we are calling that second page as page2.aspx. So put simply, cross-page posting allows you to post to another page and deal with the first page controls on the second page. To make all this happen, we have to make use of a property, a special property called postback URL property. This property is available on the button server control. This property takes a string value that points to the location of the file to which the current page should post. In this case, we are posting to page2.aspx. This means that page2.aspx now receives the postback and all the values contained in the first page, that is page1.aspx controls. And there are couple of ways of getting at the values of the controls that are exposed from page1.aspx in page2.aspx. The first option is to simply declare a variable of that control type. For example, on page1.aspx, if you have a control called text box and you want to access that control text box which is on page 1 in page 2. So what you do is, to access the text box from page 1 in page 2, you go to page 2 and you declare a variable of type text box, and you assign this variable with a value coming from a method called find control method. This method is available in previous page property. So first thing is, you declare a variable of type text box because you want to access text box which is in the first page in the second page. So in the second page, you declare a variable of type text box and you assign that variable with a value coming from find control method of the previous page property. So to identify the control, because find control needs to find the control, you have to give something to find control method. Find controls method takes the ID value of the server control. So you give an ID to the control in the first page, and that ID has to be passed to the method, find controls method. So whatever value find controls method returns, that value is assigned to the variable. And once this is assigned, you can work with the server control and its values just as if it had originally resided on the second page. Another way of exposing the control values of the first page, that is page1.aspx, in the second page, that is page2.aspx, is to create a property for the control in the first page, that is page1.aspx. So when the properties are exposed on the posting page, that is page1.aspx, the second page, that is page2.aspx, can now easily work with the server control properties that are exported from the first page. In order to work with properties that page1.aspx exposes, you have to strongly type the previous page property to page1.aspx in page2.aspx. To do this, you use an directive called previous page type in page2.aspx. This directive allows you to specifically point to page1.aspx with the use of an attribute called virtual path attribute. When this is in place, you can see the properties that page1.aspx exposes through IntelliSense from the previous page property in the second page.